Almost 2 years ago, I found the perfect side gig that is so easy. I can do it from home, I make great money, and it's so much fun, I would almost do it for free. Let's find out if it might be the perfect side job for you right after this pause. Hi, I'm 𝗚𝗢𝗜𝗡, host of Silver Sisters, a channel dedicated to women who plan to make the rest of their life the best of their life. I'll tell you all about Rover, a wonderful side gig, in just a moment. But first, I thought you might like to meet some of our guests. So yes, it sounds too good to be true, but I actually made 5 figures last year doing nothing more than what I do every day anyway, which is work from home remotely and take care of our dogs. So the process to become a pet sitter with Rover is you apply. There's a profile review fee, a vetting process, an animal safety test, photos and testimonials you'll need to provide. So once you're accepted at Rover, here's how it works. You decide what your services are, set up your profile, set up how much you're going to charge for different types of services you might be offering, and update your calendar. Then pet sitters contact you and ask if you're willing to take certain dates. If those dates work for you, you should set up a meet and greet. That's just exactly what it sounds like. It's a preliminary to making sure that everything's going to be copacetic when you're watching their dog. And it's a free service. You don't get paid for that, but it's well worth it for the peace of mind knowing that, it's going to be a good situation. What you charge is totally up to you, but just check and see what other sitters are charging so you're not way out of line. When we first started, we charged sort of the minimum. I think it was like $38 a board, and that just wasn't enough because Rover takes 20%. And most sitters were charging a bit more. So once we gained some experience, we raised our rates once to 45, then we raised them again to 55, which is what we're charging now. Some of the wonderful pet owners that we had when we raised our rates from 45 to 55, I went ahead and grandfathered in. I just told them, you're going to be kept at this rate. We love having your dogs, and that's fine. So some people, new people, pay 55. Some of our early clients pay only 45, but still it's great. And then if you get tips, and oftentimes you will, Rover doesn't take any of those. So people pay you tips through the app and say you watched a dog for 3 days and you got a $20 tip. That entire tip is yours. Rover doesn't take its cut from that. And then sometimes you'll get non-monetary tips, sorry. Like once a lady brought me some flowers, another time a lady brought me some macadamia covered chocolates, which I love, it was great. And sometimes people will give you cash tips, like in a thank you card or something. When you take awesome care of their animals, they are so grateful to you. For the most part, we've had wonderful dogs. Occasionally, we've had a dog that's had some special needs or has some special issues, and we wouldn't have back. One little rickety dog, a 𝗚𝗢𝗜𝗡 mix that we had, the owner brought his crate because that's what he slept in. He also wore doggy diapers, and because he had issues with incontinence. And so we took a deep breath and accepted him. And we put him, this was early in our Rover before we knew better. And so because I felt so bad putting him in that tiny crate at night, I put the crate in our laundry room, which has a linoleum floor, and left the crate door open. That way he could be in, but he could get out if he needed to. And of course I took him out before we went, put his diaper on him, put him back in the laundry room. And then around 3 o'clock in the morning, we hear him yowling. And I am just like gonna ignore it because I figure he's just lonely or something. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, let him just get over it. But at 3:30 in the morning, my son comes pounding on my bedroom door and says, Odie, that was the name of the dog, Odie is trapped behind the washer. So somehow Odie had managed to squeeze through a space about that big that was between our washer and dryer, get back there, and then not find his way back. So it ended up, we had to actually move the washer without crushing him to get him out. So that was an experience, that was a learning experience, and that was the last time we had Odie as a guest. And one of the dogs that we have, a frequent flyer named Greta, who I call Greta Mobetta, she is a French Bulldog and Boston Terrier mix, and she is built like a tank. She's a dynamo, and she is solidly built, and she wants to be on my lap all the time. She's lovely. The one issue she has is she's a bolter. So I have to be very careful. We have a fenced backyard, and we are very careful when the door opens. But her owner came to pick her up once, and she bolted. She was like a block away, and we sort of had to chase her down. And the way her owner got her back was, Greta, want to go for a walk? Greta stopped in her tracks and ran back to her owner. It's really funny because she was already out getting a walk, but that was enough. So I learned that trick with her. I think I had to use it one other time, but Greta also pulled this one on me once. So I had left the door I was working in the garage, so I left the door to the house open, and then I left the side door from the garage, which leads to our fenced backyard, open as well. And Greta noticed that there was an opening, and she went bolting past me into the yard, thinking that she was free. And I swear I could hear her say, "I'm free, sucker!" And then she realized she had just bolted into our fenced backyard. You should have seen the look of disappointment on her face. Is Rover right for you? Are you home most of the day or all of the day as I am? Do you have a fenced backyard? That's helpful. It's not absolutely mandatory if you can take the dog out for walks. Do you love dogs and are good with people? If you're good with people, you love dogs, and you have the environment that will allow you to have a pet, then Rover's a great gig for you. We have 2 dogs of our own, and so we only allow 2 more dogs, 2 guest dogs at any one time. So that's plenty. We have had up to 6 on one day because different people had different immediate needs, and we let it happen. And we've also had 5 a couple of times. And for the most part, if they're dogs we've had before, we can handle that. But I will say this, if we didn't have 2 dogs, I would definitely take more dogs. We could make a lot more money, have a lot more joy. But we love our dogs, and we're happy to have the number that we do. This is Porter, one of our guests. He's a sweetheart. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Or if you know of another side gig that's way fun like this, I'm sure other people would like to know about it. Rover does take, they do sit cats as well, and hamsters, and I think guinea pigs. But dogs are their, you know, bread and butter. So there's more dog sitters than there are Rover sitters, which might, if you're a cat person, maybe that would be to your advantage. Before I let you go, the Barky Munch would like to take a bow wow.